Hello, this is Monday Night Gets Nuked. I am thirsty and I shall be the world. Down there are my shiny, shiny players. There is a map. As you can see, it says the Boneyard on it, and that's where we currently shall be. And for all of you in Chatland, we have some simple rules. And today, who will jump in for them? Come on.
Don't be a tool about someone's race. Don't be a tool about someone's gender. In short, don't be a tool.
Or a screwdriver.
Wow.
Almost.
Thank you, Mr. Robot. So yeah, don't be a tool at all. Just don't do it. That was such a resounding success that Kerone appeared to freeze.
I was just seeing if you'd notice.
Believe me, after last week I noticed. But also the lighting changed in your room. It gave you away. So yes, today I am back with my delightful crew of miscreants, and they will introduce themselves now in whatever order they see fit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Kerone. I was about to give my exit spiel, but it's not time for that.
No.
And I'll be playing Lamb, who will be going over here, there, and everywhere and trying not to cause too much trouble. But he probably will.
Inevitably.
Yeah.
Tonight, well, always I am Eivor, but tonight I shall be playing Zeke, new convert to the Lord of the Salt, who will be trying to get this done as quickly as possible to seek medical attention at the hospital that he knows is nearby.
Fair enough. Alright. Two more to jump into the fray. Who shall be next?
Oh, I'm Spanners. Oh no, I'm sorry. I am playing Timi, who didn't kill anyone for the last 2 sessions, which means that she is due some serious death and destruction, with potential added sound effects from the cat, so I apologise if he joins in.
Excellent. And we cannot
Watch this
venture
go.
forth without the last member of our party.
I'm Lilth. I will be playing Anita, the rotter who likes to play with drugs. She hasn't killed anyone recently either, but then she's only killed like 2 people.
Yeah, you were complicit in that arson.
I was running away and someone shot stuff and caused fire.
Yeah, you were complicit.
I wonder who that was.
Yeah.
No, I can't work that out now.
No
So
idea.
you're the returning character from that part, so it's your fault. So yes. Yes. Currently we find Lamb and Timi and Zeke and Anita sitting in a small boat on the coast, just outside, just offshore from the Boneyard, in their little sort of canoe style boat. I think we said it had an outrigger on it, or I think I was meant to, but my mic was turned off, so no one heard it. Yes, I think it had a little outrigger on it, just so you didn't freak out too much about it capsizing. And you just bumped up against the side of a much larger boat called the Breaking Waves, and a small group of rather bemused armed people had looked over the side and thrown down a rope ladder, which, as I recall, hit Zeke. Not painfully, just sort of humiliatingly. You know, someone sort of shouted "catch" and threw it at your bad arm. So yes, we find you sitting in a shitty little boat next to a far larger, heavily armed boat. I think we established it had at least had mortars on it. You know,
I think in true Zeke fashion, he will steady the rope ladder for a moment, and then turn and look to the others and go, "Ladies first."
In which case, Timi grabs the rope ladder and hands it to Lamb.
Lamb will just climb up the rope because he hasn't really been listening to the joke.
Ah, fair enough. It wouldn't be the first time Lamb has sort of blundered through oblivious.
That never goes wrong.
No, it doesn't. It's all right. Yeah. Lamb, you are on up. You're going. I mean, there's a fair old distance up from the boat. I mean, if more than one of you want to climb up at the same time, that's cool. You know, it's going to take him a little while. You know, even with being a salty and familiar with sort of climbing up nets and rope ladders and shit, it's still not a quick thing.
Yeah, Timi would follow him.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you're going up sort of maybe 20 feet, a little more maybe. You know, on sort of a boat the size of sort of a small a small like freight vessel, or you know, a local ferry, that sort of size. So it's bigger than a fishing boat, but smaller than a large passenger ferry. So yeah, Lamb, you reach the top and fuck it, why not? Two rather burly-looking people, you know, with lots and lots and lots of tattoos, almost more tattoos than clothing, reach over and like grab you sort of by like the ruck of your back, like pull you up over the side, and sort of just deposit you over the rail, sort of thing. And they're not being too, you know, precious about it. We're salties. You know, if you can't handle yourself, you fall over. So yeah, you're deposited onto the deck. You know.
Okay. Do I recognise them?
They are definitely salties. They are definitely not flitters like you.
Do I know them individually?
No, you do not know these individuals. They
Okay.
come from a different clan.
Okay. Can they see our boat? As in the big whatever it was
The
called.
Botland Bride.
Botland Bride.
Yes.
Okay.
It's currently. I think we established last episode. It's sailing away with like signal flags up. Like, we mean you no harm. Give us a call when you've got something to trade.
Right. Okay.
It's backing off.
Okay. I'll just turn and say, "Hello."
Hello.
They
you
don't
doing?
like us.
So. I don't.
Whoa.
Hey, why are you
Oh,
microphone?
you. I'd laugh and then just sort of give him a friendly punch on the shoulder.
Why you hit me? Like,
Oh,
why are you here? Why they leave you in boat?
They kind of said that that's enough, you know. Sad story, really. And I sort of gesture for Timi to hurry up.
So, need job? Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that. I'm a bit deaf.
Oh. Here, have job. And they just they hand you a mop. It's stunningly reminiscent of the one you were just using on the Botland Bride.
Oh,
It's like, deck, clean.
oh, this is the best mop ever.
Let's talk. No
Remind-
mop. Go.
Reminds me of a wife I never had. And then he starts just mopping the deck and sort of scurries off.
Yeah. Okay. Infiltration initiated. Right, yeah. So currently, now Timmy's almost at the top. Is it Anita? Are you following her? Or?
Yeah, I would have waited until she had got about halfway up and then started to follow.
Okay. So yeah, you're starting. So yeah, Timmy, you come to the top, and again, a pair of folk reach over and pull you up. They are once again sort of more tattoo than clothing, and they help you on over. Like, so you need work?
All right, lads.
Hello.
That what I reckon you've met Lamb then?
Yes, he say need work.
Exactly. Now we've got two friends who are on their way up. They're not quite as good at on the sea, but they'll do their fair share. You
Mud
give
divers.
us all work. Aye.
We see he mud diver.
No, he is salty. He's a communicator for the mud divers. He's very good on land, unfortunately, not so great on the sea.
Oh. Okay. Maybe send. Yes?
Right. So maybe I can do some work for you. I'm very good with my hands. Get your engines going. Maybe a little bit faster.
Engine good. Maybe scavenge. Maybe dive.
Right, okay. Well,
He's good.
maybe I could...
Good. So dive. And he pushes you aside. He's like,
Right,
he wants to see who's coming up the ladder
Rude.
after you. You've just told him like rare specialist mud divers are coming up. As far as he's concerned. Oh yeah, and you're probably like 5 or 6 rungs from the top of the ladder when they start pulling the ladder up to get to you faster. So, are you going to hop onto the ladder as it's pulled out of your hands?
Yeah, but by this point, Zeke will be reluctantly sort of climbing up in the way that you do when you've got like a bucket in one hand and work your way up an unsteady ladder at sea.
Fair enough. Well, to be fair, you could probably just hold on at this point now. But yeah, they're pulling Anita up now. They're just like, ugh, what the fuck? They clearly haven't seen many rotters.
Right.
What happened to you? Face. Your face is fucked.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for pointing it out.
He's okay.
Yeah.
So, you dive.
Anita looks at Timi for a cue as to what she should respond to that.
Timmy is just nodding, going,
Yeah.
Good. You, what do you do? You dive, but what you do on boat?
It's whatever I'm told to do.
Good answer. Shmoopy. And he gets handed another mop. Your work. Clean.
Anita takes the mop and sidles towards Timi, well, kind of making passes at the deck. Not really going for it, just tickling the deck slightly with the mop.
Fair enough. Yeah, the deck is filthy. without any reservation, without any sort of second guessing at the wording of this one. The deck is filthy. It is rust streaked and filthy, and what these mortars that they've been setting off have been like, peppering this thing with powder burns and all kinds of horrible filth. These things, whatever these people do, whatever else these people do, they do not keep the boat well. Yeah, these aren't like the flitters or like the people or like the Dolshore you met out on the rigs. These guys are a lot rougher looking, and they clearly don't look after their boat as well. So yes, you've both been set off to swab the decks. As you actually do, you notice that your mop actually has like the normal absorbent like fibers on the outside. It's got like a lump of wire wool in the middle for scrubbing rust off. Like, it's an odd choice, but hey, why not? So, Zeke. I assume you just hang on to the ladder as they lift it back over the side.
Mm-hmm.
And being that you're Zeke, I imagine you're probably looking down rather than up at the sea.
Yes.
Yes. As you do, you see your little boat being like smashed a bunch of times against the side of this one. Just as the waves just like toss it against, not like ruined, but just like thrown against it a bunch of times and like sitting there all like, abandoned and forlorn. A little mote of sadness, that little bit of safety, that little like I could fuck off. That's always there in the back of your head. That's fading. And finally, you're brought over the top as well. Rough hands grab you by the shoulders, pull you over the edge. Before they get into the whole like confusing mess of trying to deal with a hand being pulled over a rail. Like you hurt. What can you do?
Well, he casts about for a minute and sees the other two mapping, and goes, "Well, good spot and a good shot with this." And he sort of nudges Tilly with his good left arm.
Good gun. And he reaches out and just takes it from you. He just turns it over in his hand like, "Good gun. I like. What do you want for it?"
I'm afraid I can't part it. It was me dear old Daz. Can't be selling it off.
I understand. Maybe get when you are dead. He hands it back to you. He turns again, and he once again rather confusingly shouts "Schmoopy," and a large hand just reaches out from a hatch on the deck and hands him another mop. He's like, "No, dive," and takes the mop back. It's a very, very large hand, and like throws over it's like a helmet with a mask section on it, kind of like a firefighter's helmet, but it's got sort of a bag seal at the bottom. It's like, "Yes, two." Another one gets sort of hurled back up. You just hear grumbling from below decks. "I'll give him fucking two, prick." You all notice, in fact, because it's quite loud, that this is not insulting. Whoever is grumbling below decks is not speaking salty. It's a very deep voice and is not speaking salty. This guy who's talking to you, he's doing his best to speak the land of the Mudsider, the Mudsiders, which is why he seems to speak in sort of single words. But yeah, you get the impression if you engage him in salty, he'd probably be a little more talkative. But yeah, so he hands you this helmet, Zeke, and he goes and hands one to Timi as well. He's like, "You'll dive. Good." And you notice there's a little group of guys there, guys and girls, in fact, but they are all getting ready, sort of further back on the boat. There seems to be, the hoists they have for lifeboats on industrial vessels. The sort of the hoop-shaped ones they hang the boat down from. They're gathering near one of those, and they're putting together like a rather hastily assembled like raft to swing out over the sea, because they don't really have any small boats left. And while you're watching this, a hatch opens on a large hatch, sort of one that would go down into the hold on a container vessel, and 3 very, very large sections of pipe emerge. 1, 2, 3. And this person you've been talking to, who you still haven't asked a name, because you're lovely like that. You treat all my NPCs so nicely. He Who's standing closest? It'd still be Zeke, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He claps his hands over his ears and looks at you pointedly.
Zeke will sort of do the same as best he can.
You do have free movement of your arms. Your right arm isn't very strong at the moment.
Well, he's currently in a sling, so...
Well, you can still lift your arm out.
Yeah. I think he'd sort of, as best he could, cover his ears.
Yeah. He looks around at the rest of you. It's like, duck, cover!
Jump.
Everyone else on the deck is currently crouching down with their hands over their ears.
Anita does the same thing.
I throw myself to the deck, and then put my hands over my ears.
Timmy's
does
going
Timi
to
do?
shrug. Timmy is just going to shrug and sit cross-legged.
Okay. Is she going to cover her ears at all?
Yeah.
Okay. That could be fun. Right,
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know, there's probably additional concussive damage.
Total hearing loss?
Maybe about sort of 5 or 6 seconds after this warning goes out, there's like an air horn, which is immediately preceded by the first of these enormous tubes just exploding. The force of this explosion like pushes you all towards the outside of the boat, sort of thing. You know, not like tumbling. You just feel a wall of air hitting you. Those of you who are covering your ears, give me a mental endurance.
9.
13.
4.
Okay.
I've rolled a 1.
Okay. Right, well, Lam and Anita, you both take a level of exposure because you've just been buffeted about by this like enormous, like it's just towering cacophony. Basically, you're just mentally shaken by the force of and violence of this explosion. Zeke, it's loud. You're covering your ears. You're braced. There's a guy standing between you and it. It seems to add up to enough.
Mm-hmm. And Zeke will... how far is Timi away, sort of roughly now?
I wouldn't say Timi really walked very, very far, really. I mean, you would have sort of pushed to one side. I mean, you probably would have hung around to, translate if needed. I don't know, though. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. How far did Timi go?
Timmy was right next to Anita.
Okay, cool. Yes. So where you're sitting, there is a sound. It's very loud. You hear it clearly. And you have a headache. You definitely have a headache. One of those like nasty, like hindbrain headaches. But it could be worse. Everyone else is kind of looking at you like you're mad. And after a few moments, you do realise there is blood running from your ears. You feel something sort of warm and wet, and you're like, cold and wet, I could understand. But, yeah, you don't seem to suffer any significant effects from this. You feel okay.
So Timmy's going to kind of put a hand up, realise that it's blood, and just let it trickle down her face, and just maintain eye contact with the guy that pulled her up. Does he still have the gun?
No, he handed Tilly back.
He did hand Tilly back.
Oh yeah.
But she's going to look at him and smile, maintaining eye contact.
Okay.
Zeke is going to turn to him and go, by the way, the name Zeke.
What?
He will do it again, sort of like a few decibels louder. But I'm not going to shout down the mic. I'll save your ears from it.
Welcome aboard, geek. And he turns and he shouts, Schmoopy, Waffles, Ducky, Boing! This is Geek! And the guys who are getting ready over by the lifeboats, they come on over, and they are Boing, Ducky, Waffles, and Hamish. And they all introduce themselves. The fellow you're talking to is Hamish. And you finally get a proper sight of Schmoopy as he crawls up through the hatch. Schmoopy is without doubt a post-gen. Christ alone knows what he's doing on a boat, let alone with salties. He's quite clearly a post-gen. Well, I say it. Schmoopy is quite clearly an it. Post-gens have no real gender, unless they choose to have one. You know, they're sort of... well, they are post-gender, if you want to see it that way, I suppose. But yeah. And Schmoopy comes over and he... okay, Schmoopy goes straight over to Timi. And you know, the others have told Schmoopy what you've done, and Schmoopy offers you an enormous hand. This big. Like, tough! I like!
Timi takes the hand, grips one of the digits, and just kind of rattles it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably got the figures about the width of a beer bottle. I call you Brick. And fellas, this is Brick. Brick and Geek. So yeah, apparently you're now called Brick by these people. Apparently they deal in nicknames. And the one who introduced himself as the lady who introduced herself as Waffles, who looks almost identical to the one who introduced themselves as Ducky. There's just like an extra strip of fabric. It's also heavily embellished. Like it's kind of hard to tell what's oil, what's tattoos, what's clothing. This comes on over to okay, let's say it comes on over to Lamb.
I'm still laying on the floor at the moment.
Yeah. And it says, get up, you wuss.
What?
This one's a wuss. Hey guys, I call this one wuss.
No, lamb, not fuss.
She offers you a hand, helps you up. She's like, welcome aboard, wuss.
Yeah. Who are you?
Waffles.
Fossils?
No. Waffles. Your
Yeah.
hand walks away. It's like, wuss is weird.
And just carry on mopping.
And finally, Ducky comes on over to Anita. Yeah.
Are these people speaking in salty?
They seem to be speaking in salty to each other. When they're turning around and saying, like, guys, this is wuss, they speak salty. But you still understand the word wuss. Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah, these are words that don't translate.
Okay.
But, you know. But yeah, and finally, Ducky comes on over to Anita. Ducky, who looks almost identical to Waffles. And helps you up and she says, God, fuck, what happened to you?
Long story.
Well, Welcome aboard, Crispy. Guys, this one's
I
called
haven't
Crispy.
been called that before.
Oh, good, you'll get used to it.
Can you not be a little bit more original?
We'll try next time. Right. So, there's a bit of a babble in Salty. For those of you who understand it, it goes something along the lines of this. Oi, Hamish, what the fuck are we doing with these ones? Hamish goes, to which Hamish obviously replies, "We're sending them diving. They cause trouble on their old boat. Don't want them here. It might be dangerous. Let's send them in on the assault." And obviously, Shmoopy and Waffles and Ducky and Boing don't seem particularly happy about this. The idea of untested shipmates being sent off with them to the shore, away from the boat. But Hamish seems to be in charge. So that's the plan. They come on over. They've helped you up. They're like, right. Which one should we have? Fuck it. Boing. Come along with his God. He has a fancy sailor's neckerchief, and Ducky, in fact, has a sailor hat. I've got it in my notes here. For some reason. So yeah, and he says, "Oh, would we like it in? Fuck it, let's have it in mud cider in English." And he says, in his best English, "We go land." Yes. Good.
Lamb's just gonna shout, "I'm Lamb."
Quiet, wuss.
You said lamb.
And once again, you hear the air horn. Everyone hits the deck and covers their ears.
Is there a door nearby?
Boom. Right. Those of you who covered your ears, give me a mental endurance.
That's better. That's a 13.
Yeah.
That is a 10.
Okay. Yeah, it's both of you who covered your ears. That was loud. But, you've been walking sort of towards the lighthouse, the lifeboat bit. You're a little further away. It's the next one towards the bow. It was loud. It's unpleasant. There's some ringing. Also so soon after the previous one. You'd be glad to be further away from it. But you're all right. Lamb. This is very, very, very loud. You've taken no moves to cover your ears, or get down.
Looking for a door.
You heard an air horn, which had previously been a warning of an immediate firing, and you went, "Where's the door?" Out loud to all the people covering their ears, cowering on the floor. Give me a physical endurance. Oh no, fuck it. Let me look at the character sheet for a minute. Let's see what kind of foolishness we should inflict upon you. Give me a reflex, because you do know what the siren means.
That's a non-natural 12.
Okay. With a 12, I will say that you hear the siren, you hear the klaxon's an air horn, and you say, "Where's the door?" and dive into the lifeboat. You dive onto like the raft, which immediately upon taking your weight just starts to lower, and you get below the level of the rail, like before the gun goes off, basically. And it's loud, it's unpleasant, but generally you're doing okay. You do take a level of exposure though, because you did just weather the unprotected weather like an enormous sonic blast. So, how many levels of exposure do you have?
2.
2. Well, that's D4 damage. Do you want to roll it or shall I?
I'll roll it.
Excellent. Roll a dice.
4.
Excellent. I can live with that. You've done maximum damage to yourself. Well done.
Fudge it.
Yes. So yes, the rest of you. Well, actually, no. We've still got Timi to deal with. Timi, you what? You stand there utterly unconcerned. You hear the siren. You now know what it's for. What? You didn't announce that you were doing anything before. Do you want to swiftly change your mind?
No.
Okay. Beat you took a mild earboxing the first time. Just give me an endurance exposure, because you are willfully exposing yourself to an enormous concussive blast.
That's a 15. No, it can't be a 15. It's a 13 because I can't count.
Well, that's enough. You entirely don't give a fuck. You stand there, with blood dripping from your ears, looking away. You manage to school your face to perfect composure. You've still got a headache from the previous time, but your nails. You didn't give a shit. Yeah, you do that. The skimmers around you are looking at you with a mix of like terror and awe. Schmoopy's looking at you with something approaching like desire. Like he looks like something he physically desires to own you. You look like an interesting thing. He doesn't understand. Posters don't entirely understand the drives of sex, and don't actually have them themselves, but they still feel like want, in a way.
Urges.
No, just like possessive want.
Ah.
Like, that one is amazing, I want it. You get the feeling that you've impressed Schmoopy. If one was to take this to a sort of a meta level, if you suggested that Schmoopy that Schmoopy want to do something that normally Schmoopy wouldn't, you might be more likely to receive that outcome. You've impressed Schmoopy. People who impress Schmoopy get his loyalty, her loyalty, its loyalty. But yeah.
Oh, your own engine.
Yes. So right, yeah, you're all sitting there, and the skimmers stand up, hurriedly. Schmoopy uncovers his left ear because he didn't bother covering the right one. You can see blood running down its face too. It licks it off with a rather overlong tongue. And there's just this like a window spinning as this fucking raft just plummets towards the sea.
Lamb's just going to scream, really.
Okay.
Zeke is going to take a look over the side, but not take any sort of measures to attempt to stop.
I love it. Yeah.
And sort of as anyone gets close to try and put the brakes on these reels, they go, "Just leave me. It'll be all right."
So Schmoopy is still like just staring at Timi. So we have Waffles, Ducky, and Boing. So, fuck it, why not? Ivor, you're gonna roll for Waffles. Anita, you're gonna roll for Ducky. And I suppose you're gonna roll for Boing, because you're all gonna roll reflex saves to see who grabs this goddamn thing.
9.
Ooh.
7.
Okay. So I believe that's Ducky. Ducky dives at this windlass, like, with pure zeal in his little heart, and just gets levelled by the swinging the handles on it. The thing's just going at a terrific rate of knots. Fuck it, let's do the traditional. Everyone roll a d4. You know.
4. 3.
2.
Yeah. Ducky takes one of the handles like straight to the chest, and just folds around the handle. He makes it about sort of 270 degrees before sliding off and getting thrown into one side. At which point he's just a subtly different shape. He sits there for a few moments. His neat little sailor hat's fallen off, which is something because they have a chin strap. But he appears to sort of be a different shape here to normal, whereas previously he was like a healthy human shape. Now he's more the shape of someone who's run full speed into a lock turnstile. There's a little sort of like dribble of blood down the side of his mouth, and you see Waffles runs to his side immediately. Which point Boing is going to turn around and look at Anita and just be like, "You help this." Old ones, no. Helping.
Anita goes to help them.
Excellent. What manner are you helping?
That's a good question. Probably a little bit of first aid. What the hell?
Okay. Point of order. Splash. The rafters hit the water with far more force than is actually recommended. Lamb, give me a reflex to hold on. I mean, you dived onto this damn thing, but it's now hit, the dangerous, corrosive, poisonous water. What did you roll?
I'm rolling a medicine check in advance.
Reflex, yeah?
Yep.
5.
5. Yeah. On the very basics of the difficulty model I've laid out for the system, you haven't actually failed as hard as you might think.
Right.
But you have briefly come in contact with the sea.
Again.
Yeah. In the manner of sort of... Actually, no, fuck it. I'm gonna flip this one entirely on its head. You have done an excellent, sterling job of holding on. A perfect job of holding on. Unfortunately, the raft has flipped. And you manage to claw your way out very quickly, and you shrug off the outer layer of clothing that's sort of wet.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of standing there, like, to be fair, you were wearing like mud diving gear, so most of it is waterproof and like quite safe, but it's also old mud diving gear.
Right.
So you shrug this shit off and you throw it down and you get away from it. But nevertheless, you are going you're going to deal with some effects here.
Mm-hmm.
So you are going to take 2 levels of exposure from brief immersion in the water.
On top of the current 2
Yes.
of exposure, so 4 now.
Yeah. So you're going to take a level of suffering.
Yeah.
With an accompanying 1 off of your maximum health.
Damn.
And then you are going to take 6 damage from nausea, burns, and distracting uncomfortable light fractures, possibly. That's just the bracket it says on here. Luckily, I only rolled a 2.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure you didn't have any armour on, did you?
Oh.
Excellent. You haven't lost any armour.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Had it happened to anyone else, they would have lost armour. But they bogarted the armour while you were off doing something else. Excellent.
So, hearing the splash, Timi is going to throw herself at the side of the boat and attempt to start pulling the raft up, and sort of look for help from Shmoopy.
Okay. I mean, Shmoopy is an incredibly large, incredibly stupid-looking being. It might take a little more than, subliminal messaging to...
Okay. Fair enough. No, that's post-gen. In which case, Timi is going to shout, "Shmoopy, help me! Come on, pull him up. You can do this."
Excellent. Shmoopy is going to run to the side that you are, and also grab the line before it goes through, off the 2 posts onto the windlass. She's going to grab the line and pull. The immediate effects of this are felt, well, immediately. Wuss, down on the raft, you're going to notice that would you say that you're at the end of the lifeboat hoist that's towards the bow or the stern?
This
This is Timi.
Stern.
Okay. Hey, Wuss, you're going to notice that the raft you're on suddenly lurches out of the water on the left by about 4 feet. Tipping what was your clothing into the sea.
Right.
It does this very quickly. Quickly enough to sweep you from your feet, but you do grab on. You're not sliding anywhere. You are safe for the moment. Because it's literally just gone, huh. It's maybe it's 8 feet wide, this raft, and it's just sort of lifted 45 degrees out of the water sort of thing. But yeah. So, Timi, you're now aware that you are standing here taking the strain on a rope that's just been pulled 4 feet. The other half of the hoist is unmolested.
Right, so we've got me and Shmoopy holding onto the same rope?
Yep, you and Shmoopy are holding onto the same rope. Shmoopy has just pulled it the 4 feet from the top of the hoist to the top of to the rail, basically.
Okay. So I will take the rope from Shmoopy and say, could you pull the other rope? Maybe at the same rate so we don't lose him off the edge. And then once he's up, then he'll be safe. So you get that rope, I get this rope, and we pull at the same rate. Slowly.
And it lets go of the rope you're holding. Take a strength check. Give it some strength.
Okay. Oh, great.
Nice. You take the strain. Excellent. Right. Anita, you were saving someone's life.
Mm-hmm. I rolled an 8, so that gives me an 18.
Fuck, yes. You quickly deduce that, like, basically the top ribs have been crushed. And, like, obviously the collarbones with it. It's easy because you've recently seen a very similar injury. But this is just on both sides from the front. You're like, okay. And you manage to sort of you manage to roll Ducky into a position where he's not putting too much pressure on it. But you're aware that, you know, bar surgery or some kind of minor miracle, there's not really anything you can do. You know, he might survive. He'll never be healthy.
I make it look as though I'm doing as much as I can, and I will be doing as much as I can, but I will also say, yeah, he's screwed.
No, help!
I'm helping as much as I can.
Do more help.
The only thing I can do is cut him open, and I do not want to do that.
Cut!
I don't have any anesthetic, I don't have any antibiotics. I cut him, he die. I don't cut him, he might live.
Then why say cut?
Because a trained surgeon would be able to help him. I'm not one of them.
Oh. Well then. Bye-bye, Ducky. They just pick him up and they chuck him off the side. Lamb, you see a severely wounded man, like, with wheeling arms, just being hurled into the sea. He screams for a little while, and then he hits the sea, and he just doesn't have the motive power to his upper limbs to swim well. And you kind of see the sea bubbling around him and frothing as the tattoos sort of melt off.
Lamb's just going to say something along the lines of...
Yes. Zeke, what have you been doing during all of this?
I think Zeke has sort of been watching over the side as
Excellent.
little Lamb is being hauled back up, and maybe after seeing the raft capsize, I head over to Hamish, the one that pulled us over the edge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And gave us jobs. I ask him, so what are we doing? What are we diving for then?
Meds, tech, oil, metal.
Nothing specific that you want from this particular place then?
He just points at, like, the relatively well-preserved buildings of the boneyard. Just goes, what do they have?
Okay, I can see that.
And you can see, as he points, you can see there are people on the shore, like, actively scavenging, and people trying to fight them off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something in the air of like a post-apocalyptic Viking raid. These people are going into people's homes and just taking shit. Anyone who doesn't agree with it gets dealt with.
Don't suppose you've got another raft to go down on? That one seems to have seen better days. With he just gestures sort of downwards to where Lamb ended up.
It's a good boat. Why? Take your boat?
We could go on our boat, I suppose.
Is small. Not fit many tech.
But we won't be seen. We'll be less likely to be noticed.
He doesn't have the words in English to tell you this, but he looks from you to the raid to the mortars in a way that suggests that it's a bit late for sneaking.
Fair. Well, once he makes the connection, it'll just nod and go fair and return to where Timi and
Anita?
no, post-gen are hauling lamb.
Schmoopy.
So it's where Timi and Schmoopy are hauling Lamb's ass back to the deck and waits for it to arrive.
So yeah, Shroofy is pulling the other side of this raft up. Waffles is looking quite sad about this person who may or may not have been her brother being thrown overboard. And she, reverently picks up the sailor hat and puts it on. So that's one of the named NPCs I drew up before this character dead. Excellent.
Anita kind of wanders over to Waffles and kind of pats her gently on the back and it's like, there. These things happen.
Waffles looks at you in a manner that kind of suggests that she's not entirely sure what you're saying. But she gets the gist and gives you sort of a weak smile. Locks eyes sort of like at the settlement. And it's just like, we'll take good things for remembering him.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And she kind of, Anita will scurry back to Timi and just go, so what's going on? What are we doing?
Well, once we get Lamb back on board, I think they will want us to go to shore and steal shit.
But aren't we supposed to be stealing the boat?
Yeah. We were meant to be like stopping the boat. I wonder whether it would be better to get them away from the settlement first.
But most of them are in the settlement, so we've got less crew here.
Yeah. Give me a minute. And she turns back to Shmoopy. Have we managed to get Lamb back on the boat yet?
Oh yeah, pretty much the minute Boeing chucked Ducky over the side, he's like actually manned the windlass. To take the strain off of you guys.
Okay. So now Lamb is safely aboard.
Yeah. Good Wookiee impression.
Timmy's gonna pick up some of the debris, the dust and stuff, mortar, fire stuff that's all over the deck, and just take it in her hand. Take some of the blood that was on Shmoopy's face and mix it, and then use it to draw a little happy face on Shmoopy's arm.
Anita's watching this very puzzled.
I think maybe I'm just being cynical, but I think this is a solid manipulate.
This is indeed a solid manipulate. I think Timi quite likes the post-gen.
Yeah.
And it's a 12. Yes, 12.
Yeah. Well, you completely fucking smashed that because Shmoopy rolled a 3 to realise you were manipulating it. So.
Oh dear.
So you draw it on Shmoopy's enormous bicep as he's tensing against this rope or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Shmoopy he seems to find it quite difficult to look at the outside of its arm, just due to its proportions. Its head's sort of mounted quite low on on quite hunched shoulders. But eventually, it gets the gist. I mean, of course, it's seeing it upside down. For a little moment, sort of looks at a frowny face with eyes under its mouth. It looks a bit confused. Before
Schmoopy, what do you do on the ship?
I lift heavy.
Right, and do you help with anything else?
I move heavy.
Do you help with the engines? They move heavy. They move heavy ships.
The loud boxes.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you show me the engines? I'd really like to see them.
Shmubi kind of looks at Boyne and Waffles and Hamish, and curiously for a creature that's 9 feet tall, kind of hunches in conspiratorially. Says later. Busy now.
Okay. We'll maybe spend some time later. Then you can show me the ship. Yes. You show me the loud box later.
Yes.
And with that, Timi is going to walk over to Lamb and say, Lamb, do you want me to look after that jar?
Do I still have it?
Oh, shit.
He says in a cucumber. Because I had to remove the clothes that I was wearing.
Mm. Well, yeah, I think you more shrugged off the stuff you're wearing on top. So it depends. Did you have it in a jacket pocket or in a bag slung off a belt or something?
I'm gonna say whatever I didn't take off.
Fair enough. Yeah, you probably had it in a pouch slung on a belt. I mean, you're wearing scavenger's kit basically, so you probably have lots of little pouches. So yeah, you've probably slung it on a belt pouch, one that can swing freely, rather than hitting things and breaking.
In which case, I'm gonna pass it over and say, "Yeah, you best look after this. I don't feel too well."
No, best you didn't drop it, right?
Yeah, might make the bang in the wrong moment.
Yeah. What did Lamb look like before going into the water?
Oh God, I only got what he was wearing.
Well, no, it's your character. What did he look like? I know he used to be a very tall built bloke with very little hair, but that's because it's shaved. But it's been 20 years.
He did have fiery red hair and a beard and a moustache and freckles, but it's gone a bit grey now.
Okay. Well, since he came out of the water, he's sort of a pink person with patchy grey hair. Literal patches of grey hair. Kind of looks like someone who'd been heavily sunburned and rolled in wool.
Right.
Just for a mental image there. Yeah, you can all tell by looking at Lamb that he is not the person who should be handling high explosives right now. But yes, so you have a date to visit the engines later. You have a raiding party that's now down a member and wants to dedicate this one to the memory of Ducky. So, what are you doing? It's now like 4-3.
Tim is going to pick up Lamb's mop and look busy.
All right.
I'm just gonna stand there and sort of where my mop was and look confused.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Boing is now going to be like, right. Boat. Land. Diving. Go.
Anita's going to pull out a half bottle of some clear liquid that she picked up along the way. And she's going to pass it to the crew with the words "quick drink" on before we go.
Which member of the crew are you handing it to? Currently standing near you, you have Boing, who seems to be in charge, Waffles, who is mourning the death of her brother, and Schmoopy, who kind of seems to be friendly. Hamish is off doing something, and you haven't met... They did call another name, but you haven't seen this other person yet.
She is going to hand it to Waffles.
Okay. Oh, shit. Okay.
Should help you make you feel better.
Now, I don't recall exactly what this did last time.
I have it written down
Okay. Well,
as a clear, dangerous liquid.
Oh yeah, no, I don't recall what I made it do to you when you drank it.
I believe
how much of that we mitigated because you are what you are?
Quite a lot.
Yeah, I believe you survived it because you were a rotter.
Yes, pretty
basically.
much.
So, for the sake of ease, and because it's nice to get everyone to participate and roll a dice, I want everyone to grab a dice.
Just
any
dice?
kind they wish.
Oh, okay.
But if any of you grab the same dice as someone else, you don't get to roll it.
Okay.
So what have we got?
The 8.
20.
Have we got 2d10s there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
D100s.
2d100s.
Ah, 2d100s. Well then, as the second d100, you don't get to roll. I shall roll my d12. Right. I got a 7.
I got a 4.
10.
90.
Shit. Okay. Okay. Waffles takes a hearty swig, smacks her lips, throws her head back, guzzles about half this bottle, and just
Not
drops.
that much.
Just drops. The veins on her face start to take on like an ungodly, like greenish tinge. Like her eyes start to fizz very slightly. She goes into like some violent convulsions, and that's it. She's gone. Like, her eyes film over in moments.
Oops.
Yeah, you
Go
just
to grab the bottle and go, "To do that to me."
yeah, you just like fed someone like 30 centiliters of like industrial cleaning fluid.
Yeah, sip it. This is Anita saying this.
Yeah. Boing and Schmoopy have just watched you literally murder someone.
She's
they're
gonna
friends
take.
with.
Anita's going to take a small sip and go, "Doesn't do that to me." A
Boing's
very
just-
small sip.
Boing at this point is very agitated. Like, what? Fuck! Why? How?
It's a drink.
How?
Please.
Help!
Not
You!
How?
Old, help! Crispy, help, please!
Anita has a quick, making it look like she's doing something. It's like, yeah, no, she's dead. You
As Anita's doing that, Anita, are you keeping your supplies in like a bag or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, whilst Anita's like pretending to help, Timi is going to look like she's helping too, and kind of put her arm around and then kind of into the bag that Anita has, and take out the patch that's in there. Mask it in her hand, and just kind of tap the back of Boing's neck and be like, "It's all right, mate. She'll be okay." Whilst attaching the patch, to the back of his neck.
I'm denying all knowledge of that one. I'm busy.
Fuck it, I want to tell people too.
Right. So let me look up what the patch does again.
It
Very briefly. But I recall it doing something fucking horrible.
yeah, it's a
It's a detox patch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's horrendous.
Yeah, I've got it written down
Cool.
somewhere. Causes people to pass out, gain 4 levels of suffering.
There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Boing screams very briefly. Yeah. Kind of in the manner of someone who like falls like suddenly into electrified spikes. Yeah. Ah! And then just falls bonelessly to the ground.
Anita kind of looks around, shocked, spots the patch and goes and quickly rummages through her bag.
Yeah. You notice as this guy collapses, as he lays on the ground, you notice there are bubbles against as he lays like face down on the deck. There are bubbles.
I'm gonna mop it up with my mop.
Okay. Yeah. You. Oh God. No, you haven't got your mop.
I'm gonna borrow the mop back and mop up the bubbles.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Basically, he's face down in all this like oil and muck and filth, and there are bubbles, denoting that he's breathing. This man is not dead.
Who's left on the deck right now?
You have Schmoopy and Hamish. Schmoopy has just watched you, like, brutally fuck up 2 of his mates. Like, watch you poison one, and then, like, near lethally poison the other.
Anita makes a point of drinking it a little bit to make it obvious that she didn't expect that to happen.
Oh yeah, but you did so. You do so. This is a subtlety. Like, Schmoopy is a big dumb thing. 2 of its mates just died after interacting with you guys. Well, yeah, 2 died and 1's unconscious on his face. Schmoopy's just gonna roar at this point, like a deep, throaty, ungodly roar. And Schmoopy is gonna swing at Anita. As far as he's concerned, everything that's happened here that's bad has happened in your presence. He's gonna swing like an enormous, meaty forearm at you because he's a bit too close for a punch. Okay. Yeah, so that's a 16.
Can I try and duck out the way?
You could try. Yeah, give it a go. Give me a reflex. Yeah, I mean he did roar to tell you that it was happening.
14.
And he got a 16 to hit you. So yeah, he like pistons a forearm, and he's just so big that he's standing too close to punch. So he's going to hit you sort of here with a sweeping arm. Oh, fuck, for 12 damage.
Is it across my chest?
Yeah. He's just
In
literally
that
like...
case, I've got armor.
He's just like, bashing you about, basically.
Anita does not look very well now.
No.
That's 12, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Got to do maths. I don't do maths. But yeah, Anita's not looking great.
Excellent. He's like, Ruby's still, Ruby's just like, red haze, flailing.
Timmy is going to shout at Schmoopy. But as she does so, she's going to step backwards, making sure that her heel just steps on the side of Boing's throat and just like crushing it to make sure that we finish him off. We don't want him getting out. And she's going to look at Schmoopy and shout, "What have you done? You did all this."
Ooh.
Come on, dumb fucker.
Yeah, that's definitely a manipulate. I don't know. Does this count as emotional torture? No, it's a manipulate.
It'll be torture later. Wrong one.
Promises.
That is the wrong dice. That is a 20. 14.
Yeah. It is immediately clear that Schmoopy is very angry and very confused and a little scared. And when his new friend tells Schmoopy that this is Schmoopy's fault, Schmoopy... Something like the tension in Schmoopy's face just sort of snaps, and it just falls into a look of deep confusion. Is Schmoopy fault?
Yes. You hit everybody. Did you not? Do you not remember? Look what you've done to Anita, the crispy one. She's over there.
But Schmoopy is good.
Maybe Schmoopy just got angry.
But Schmoopy is good.
Schmoopy is good, but sometimes when you're good and you get angry, you do things that you regret. We still like Schmoopy. Is Schmoopy our friend?
Schmoopy is your friend.
Good. Let's maybe put these ones over with Ducky.
Oh, they are dead. And he just picks up the dead ones and chucks them lightly. Apparently these are just entirely unsentimental salties. Dead people are not useful.
Right. So, Schmoopy, who else is on the ship with us right now?
Is Captain and elders and Rusties and crew and cargo. Oh.
And are they all here now?
Oh, they are there.
They are there. They're on the land. Who is on the big noise box?
Oh, is Rusties.
Just Rusties.
Yes.
Okay. Can you go and sit by the door for me? We'll come and get you in a minute. I'm just going to make sure Anita is okay. The crispy one needs a bit of help.
Okay. He goes and sits by the door. He's looking very confused.
At that point, Timi is going to look at Lamb and Zeke and go, I think we probably need to help her. And this may be our chance. So we need to get this jar down to the engine rooms.
At this point, once again, you hear a klaxon.
No.
Boom! Right, all of you who've covered your ears, give me that all-important mental endurance.
8.
I may use a legendary point to re-roll that, because that is a 1, which totals a 5. So yes, I shall use a legendary point to make that.
Is it an 11 by any chance?
That's a 6.
6? Well, that's... yeah. Okay, so we got...
Can I argue that I'm used to it by now, having weathered the
No. No. This is a mortar the size of a school minibus going off, like, you know, less than 50 meters away from you. It's the sheer concussion of it firing alone is significant. Imagine what it's like for the people receiving it. But yeah, screw it. Yeah, you take a lovely level of exposure. I believe the other two of you got over 10s, didn't you?
Yeah, I crit.
Ah, you got a crit. Yeah, you feel fucking great. You're just like, yeah, who gives a shit?
I got an 8.
You got an 8. Ah, yes. Well, you also suffer a level of exposure then.
That takes me to 2 exposure.
Excellent. I believe that's D4 damage.
Takes me to 2 exposure, but I'm a rotter.
Yeah, you don't take damage from exposure.
Nope.
So I'm not looking so good at 19 out of 20.
Oh.
I think Anita needs to give me some first aid here.
Nah.
Barely a
Still
fucking
got-
finger cut.
I've still got 4 levels of exposure.
Yeah. Excellent. So, yeah, and once again, Timi, you're standing a decent distance away. The noise isn't bothering you. Like, to be fair, it's not pleasant.
Zeke is going to look around, and do you know the hole that these mortars came out of? He's going to sort of stick his head sort of through said hole if it's still open.
Oh yeah. It's been open this whole time.
And have a look around to see if he can spot any more. Or anything that looks like it might be loaded into said mortar.
Oh, yeah. As you look down, there are these 3 mortars in a row. Each is roughly the size of a school minibus. You know, it's a big ass thing. Sort of like more of a medieval mortar than what we'd think of as a thump over there sort of thing. And you can clearly see there is like a gun crew down here. Like, some of them are in chains. Some of them are clearly hitting each other with chains. And they are loading like powder and like blocks of like weird sort of jelly like gunge into this thing, and like, then chucking like enormous like balls of something in there.
Zeke is going to turn to Timi and say, "You took the jar off idiot here, didn't you?"
I did.
And he's going to hold one hand out.
Yeah, fair enough. Jimmy is going to hand over the jar to Zeke.
Zeke is going to open it up and sort of find like a bit of cloth to make a makeshift wick with. And using his fire starter.
Oh, God, what are you doing, man?
I'm fully aware that he's got like hundreds of matchbooks down to like the last match somewhere. He'll strike the match and set it at the end of the thing and say, "We need to head to the lifeboat now."
At this point,
sort of give it a
running.
gentle roll, like give it a toss into that hole where the gunpowder is that they are loading in and the gelatinous blobs.
oh God. Timi is going to scream at Schmoopy to get on the life raft.
Hearing that, Anita's going to head to the life raft as well.
Okay.
I'm going to throw myself on the life raft.
Zeke is going to do a runner for the life raft.
Okay.
Timi's heading to the boat.
Timi's heading to the boat.
Our boat.
Ooh, yeah.
Your boat
Because
has been left
Schmoopy
unattended,
did.
slamming against the side of this much larger boat.
Yeah. But the raft has got a post generally. It's not going to be a lot of room.
It's an 8 foot by 8 foot raft. It's
Oh,
a big
okay.
raft. The whole point is
Oh,
that they could get everyone to shore and they could, bring back things on it.
Okay, fair enough. I was imagining something a bit smaller.
Yeah, it's bigger than the boat. It's a little boat.
If it's bigger than the boat, yeah, okay, fair enough. Timi will head to see that it's been smashed against the side of this bigger boat for a while, and head
It's probably
directly.
floated off. So you didn't make any effort to secure it. When Zeke looked over earlier, it was just like bashing against the side with the waves. Like, if you look over the side now, it's probably like over there somewhere.
But yeah,
Tide has taken
life
it.
raft
Okay.
off now.
Right.
Schmoopy,
So
leave.
you've opened this jar, like a jam jar, basically. You've got a rag, jammed it onto the top, and then lit the top of a dry rag.
Yeah.
Okay.
How things can be.
Give me an explosives roll.
Okay. I can do explosives.
It was nice playing with you all.
I have a grand total of 1 in explosives. I'm going to use my last legendary point for the session. I rolled a 1, so that is a 2.
Excellent. Well, as I pointed out, the entire reason I got you to roll this was to try and counteract this very thing. You roll this jar casually down the deck of a ship at sea that's currently side onto the waves, and you run for the life raft. And who's the slowest, do we think? I'd say Anita's probably the slowest. Anita's recently been beaten very nearly to death. Or at least halfway.
Timi is sporting a limp too.
About halfway. I would say Lamb, but Lamb is kind of an expert at diving onto this raft by now.
Yeah.
So I would say that Schmoopy and Lamb hit the raft at the same time. Timi makes the dive when they're already about 4 feet down. Zeke reaches the rail by the time they're like 8 feet down. And Anita turns and notices that the wick's gone out. And this jar of incredibly explosive, God knows what, is just rolling gently towards the rail on the shore side of the boat.
I am going to try and grab that jar and stop it disappearing.
Yeah, make a burst. Zeke, you have now leaped over the side of the boat. Take a reflex save to hit the raft. It's only halfway down. It's a little less than halfway down to the water yet, but you've got a decent chance.
Reflex. Wow, I need to better maths. 11 non-natural.
Yeah, you're fine. You crash onto the raft between Shmoopy and Lamb. Timi, you landed on the raft fine. It was only 4 feet down when you jumped. You stepped down onto it, sort of thing. It was a long step and rather less than graceful. But hey, you're now for the most part you seem to be alone on this deck. Hamish is off doing something. Shmoopy is on the raft with your fellows, 20 feet below you. And there's a jar over there.
She's going to grab the jar and check that the contents are still there, because she's not sure if it's liquid or a gel type thing.
I think it's quite a thick liquid, but yeah. You hurry on down the deck. Like, you see Hamish is standing on the deck looking at you a little strangely. Like, he heard Shmoopy roar a minute ago, but Shmoopy gets excited. And he's heard the raft hit the water. But he's not doing anything right now. He's just looking at you rather oddly. And you walk over. I mean, it hasn't rolled far. It's hit a section of the deck where one riveted plate isn't quite flush with the next. It just stopped. It's fine. I mean, the lid's missing. Whatever's in this is soaking into the cloth now. There's a little patch of oily deck over there with it's a little bit on fire.
She is going to... There's a little patch of deck on fire, did you say?
Yeah, a little patch of oily, gritty, spoily deck. There's just a little patch that's got a little flickering flame on it.
She knows that they want the boat intact.
Yes, you do.
She doesn't know that much about this explosive, but she does know explosives. Has she got anything she can transfer this fire and head to the engines?
Well, to be fair, the jar you're holding at this point, I mean, yeah, it's inherently unstable, but it's in about as stable a state as it's ever going to be. If you can find a source of ignition anywhere at all,
that's true.
You can utilize this.
She is going to attack the mop that she was given, pull the wire wool out of it, pocket that, and try and take some of the mop to dip into the fire, keeping that separate from the jar.
Okay. So you
then
have a flaming brand and
yeah.
a jar of something very explosive. You are walking in full view of anyone who may want to look on the deck.
Yeah.
Currently. You are walking past, I will remind you, an open gun bay full of explosives with a burning torch. And there is a man on deck watching you.
Okay.
But you've said it, so it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that is the ancient rule.
Yeah.
So yes, you've said it, so it's happening. You light a torch, you throw it over your shoulder like like the traditional sort of hobo image of the guy with his little bindle, and you walk along. Hamish is like, "What you doing? Why? You have fire. Why aren't you on boat?
Boat went without me.
Stupid
Trying to
boat.
mop the deck, and mop caught fire, so gonna go put it out.
What is this?
It's a
Points at
jar.
the jar. Yeah, it's quite clearly full of something. He didn't give you a jar full of anything.
It's a jar I found.
What is in?
No idea.
Give. Give.
She sets the jar down in front of him, backs up as much as she can, and sets fire to the jar with the mop and legs it and tries to jump into the boat.
Excellent. You said, yeah. He reaches down to pick up the jar. He's looking at you like, why didn't you just give it to me? As he's like bends down to pick it up, he's got his hand around it, and you smash the burning mop onto it. Okay. Okay, that's not going to be enough. Right, yeah, you have 2 seconds. What do you do? You have 2 seconds.
Which boat is closest?
He is standing on the side that he pulled you up over. Technically, your boat would be closest if it's still where you left it. But you don't know if it is.
I'm going to head towards where the lifeboat went over.
Okay. You only have 2 seconds.
Run and jump.
You've got the entire width of like a small commercial like freighter to cross.
You know what? Screw it. She's just going to jump over the side.
Fair enough. You do know there are climbing nets on the side. That is something you know.
She's going to jump over the side and grab hold of the net and try and climb down and try and get as far away as she can, as quickly as she can, because she doesn't know how much this is going to explode.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so you dive over the top. You grab your first handhold, your legs like swing over, and like for a moment you like scrabble as you fall. Everyone on the raft is kind of
She's
worrying
screaming
a little
at the top of her lungs.
What's going on? You lot on the raft. There's been a few moments. Anita hasn't come down. You haven't seen her. Schmoopy is dutifully undoing the ropes. Like, go land. Yeah.
Go on, Schmoopy. And then Zeke will turn to Timi and go, you reckon she's alright up there?
Boom! you see, like, it's easily 80 to 100 feet, just a plume of fire and smoke. A circular like wave of air, like like a blast of air, like on the water, like spreads out. This like pillar of fire it seems to stay there for a little more time than it has any real business to. Before sort of subsiding into a large like mushroom-shaped cloud. And after a few moments, everything seems quiet. The boat rocks a bit. It's the deck is quite clearly on fire. But from your side, apart from the fire and the rocking, it seems to be okay. And you've been propelled quite nicely towards the shore. Anita.
Mm-hmm.
You experienced the unfriendly end of this explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, you do experience it from the other side of like a thick piece of sheet steel. Let's start with with a physical endurance.
That would be a natural 12.
Fuck yes. You manage to like tangle your arms and legs in the net. Like you fall loose, you lose your grip, but you cannot fall. Like you're like hooked in like elbows and knees. Like you're not sure if you can get out of this net, but you're not falling anywhere. Like, you experience this burning heat. Like the air around you is uncomfortably hot. Like you don't even have that much sensation in your skin normally, but it's uncomfortably hot. You can see the water near you starts to steam with just like the heat of being near this explosion. The metal at your back grows warm, like uncomfortably warm, and kind of like leaning on a hob. Leaning on an electric hob, and you hear your meat starting to sizzle.
This is not good.
No,
not good.
no, it's
not good. Not good. Help.
And after a few seconds, you look up, and the railing that you jumped over is sort of a sagging red mess. The net that you're hanging from is actually on fire.
She is muttering to herself, "This is so not good. This is not good. Oh
Yes.
fuck. Oh fuck.
Yes.
Oh fuck."
I mean, you've probably dropped about 10, 12 feet from the level of the deck. This sort of this circle of sort of ruin and redness and melting, like half molten steel, is probably stops only about 4 feet above you. Like this steel has been flash melted, and is cooling. But yeah, it's less than wonderful. The ropes to your left start to snap. How are you going to survive? What are you doing?
She is yelling wildly for the others. She's kind of like, guys, help, round here, guys. And she's looking around widely to see if she can see their boat, the original boat.
Give me a perception. Can you see the original boat?
No, she cannot.
Okay, I'm going to accept that as a natural no.
It's 1.
Yeah,
On the dice.
yeah.
Nice.
You think you see the boat? It's way over there. You might be wrong. You're not entirely sure. Yeah. There are bits of stuff and wreckage like falling from the sky. Yeah. There's lots of smoke and fumes and filth around.
Is there any big bits of wreckage just below the net?
No.
Damn it.
No. Most wreckage that's being thrown clear is not the sort that floats. It's shrapnel. It's boat shrapnel in the form of like pieces of steel. So yeah, the ropes you're in start to snap. You start to sort of swing lower, if it were sort of possible to not do that. That would probably be great for you. And the water is, I'll say you dropped about 12 feet, so the water's about 8 feet below you. Which is comfortable for the moment. But you can see the ropes burning, and every few moments there's a sort of a ping, and you feel kind of jolt a bit.
How hot does the hole above me look?
The hull above you is that sort of charred cherry red that you get when you actually just hold metal in a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not actually like workably hot for steel, but it's not like huggable.
Mm-hmm.
But it is only in the sort of the immediate area above you.
She is going to try and untangle herself, climb along away from the glowing parts, and get back up on deck.
Excellent choice. What do you want to roll for that?
Physical endurance or reflex?
Yeah, we'll give it physical endurance.
13.
Yeah, you manage to you're struggling yourself free, and you actually climb up a little towards the hot steel, because the ropes that are snapping, they're now off to your right because you turned around, are actually swinging you clear slowly.
Yep.
Right, so as you perform this masterful escape of your own idiocy, we'll join the others on the little raft. You're watching this great big boat on fire. You can fuck it. Why not? After a few moments, you can hear screams, and yells, and they're what might be someone trying to get some kind of siren started. It's not working, but some kind of call to alarm. You're floating gradually, sort of further and further away. Like Schmoopy is, fuck it, he's an idiot. Schmoopy is paddling with his hand.
Did we hear Anita's cries for help over this din?
No.
No.
No, there is a roaring oil fire between you and her. Not to mention whatever happened to go up on the ship's magazine.
That being the case, Zeke will remove the oil, the cotton hat, the wax cotton hat that has somehow managed to stay intact, and sort of holding it to his chest, go, "It was a good run. I'm sorry it had to end this way."
Alright, and everyone else is just going to look sad. Excellent. So yeah, you're just continuing to float off unless you do something. You're going to go and hit land and to participate in a raid.
So
is that the plan?
Still be on there?
Schmoopy, just keep us here for a minute. See if you can get us around the bow of the ship.
Why? We're going to land. Going for taking stuff.
Where are we going to take the stuff back to, my boyo?
Oh. I don't know. Where do we take stuff to? Brick?
Well, what if we took it to a different boat? There are lots of other boats with lots of big noise boxes.
Other boat?
There's another boat. We've got another boat.
Oh. I've got a boat. He pats the raft affectionately.
Maybe you could bring your boat to our boat, and then you can come sailing with us. But before we do that, I think we ought to find out if the crispy one is still alive.
Oh yeah, Crispy. We should look after Crispy.
Yeah,
Crispy
we
was
should look
hurt.
after Crispy. Can you get us closer to the big boat, even though it's broken, just in case the Crispy one is there?
It won't be easy. The water is pushing us that way. He just points sort of vaguely towards the shore.
But I bet you're really good at this.
I am big.
You are big.
But
and what is the raft made of?
Mostly like oil drums.
Okay.
It's like oil drums and like mesh sections and things like that.
Are there any planks of wood?
No, there is no wood whatsoever.
Okay.
Got a big club.
Okay, so Timi is going to remove the breastplate from her armour and hand it to Schmoopy and say, stop putting your hands in the water because you're going to hurt yourself. Use this.
A hand with fingers the size of beer bottles holds up an armour plate the size of a standard A4 pad.
Yeah, but it's still water, and the postman will get hurt with the water. And we can't hurt Schmoopy.
It's smaller than his hand.
Even so.
Schmoopy has better idea. And Schmoopy walks over to the side of the raft and he bends down and he puts his hands on the raft. He grips hold of, puts his fingers through some mesh, and he just bunny jumps his back legs into the water and starts kicking. We will go very fast. And he starts kicking wild, like a little kid with one of those floats in a swimming pool. And as he does it, you can see the clothing, the rough shorts, possibly even jorts he was wearing, start to fizz and dissolve a bit. And the raft is definitely moving the other way, a little roughly. In fact, it's not designed for changing directions or going quick, but it's suddenly doing both. And basically, it hits the first wave and just goes down. It knifes into it. The crest of the wave just swashes over the top of the raft, soaking you all, but only for a moment. And he's powering you back towards the boat. From where he is, he can't really see. So he's just powering you back straight towards the boat.
Schmoopy, you might want to stop now.
I'm doing good. We're going quick.
We are going quick, but maybe we're going quick right into the side of the boat. Could you get back on the raft?
Use the ropes. It's good. I do this lots.
So, I take it there are some ropes that we can use somewhere on this raft.
There's the lifeboat hoist. It's designed for hoisting the thing back up.
I was hoping that there would be ropes that were attached to tell him to turn, so we could use him as a motor.
No, he doesn't have a bridle fitted. Schmoopy is a sentient being with real feelings. I'm offended that you would think to mount him in a bridle. It's typical of the group, but you're a terrible human being. But yeah, he kicks you back. He takes the raft right back to where it started. He swims around it and he clicks the rope back on. I think that's a big ass carabiner sort of system. He clicks it back onto one side. It's lamb, wuss. That's it, wuss. Can you do other one?
Do the other clip.
Yeah. And he just like, fuck it. He attempts to swarm up the rope, just like to climb up the damn thing. Let's give it a shot. Nope. He gets about 3 feet out of the water and just slides back in. Oops.
Can I make that happen?
You want to spunk your points to have him climb up?
Well, it's getting to the end of the
Yeah, it is.
thing.
Cool. Yeah. You spray your points and Shmoopy climbs up like with he aces it. Like, he does it like King Kong style. Like he jumps up, swings around, like jumps to the other one, like Jackie Chan's it up. And before you know it, he's up the top, like turning the windlass on his own. Somehow, from somewhere, he's got one of those naff 90s caps. He's got it on sideways and got glasses. Shmoopy is good at this. Shmoopy is way cool. And yeah, you get back to the level of the deck. And okay, he just grabs like the rear brace for the right lifeboat hoist and he just pulls it back over the ship. It is hinged, but he does bend it.
As we get back to the top, Zeke is just going to call out, Anita, are you here?
Alright.
Do I hear it?
That's it.
Am I up the top yet?
You're just climbing back over the top on your side. Give me a perception.
8.
So, we close out on the scene with our friends all reunited back on the ship they've set on fire. They climb back on, like, we've got to make sure Anita's alright. Zeke claps his hands to his mouth and goes, Anita! And we cut away to Anita just climbing back up like, they're all dead! And that's where we end. Oh,
wow.
Just the other sides of like the bridge from each other.
Wow.
Yeah. So, that was Mennonites Get Nuked. It feels like we ran over time, but I don't know if we did. Who knows?
No.
Excellent. That just felt longer than it was, I think. There was so much feeling. There was so much schmoopy.
It was a fun-packed show.
It was great.
We killed stuff and burnt stuff.
You did. You killed and burned, and you did it without resorting to combat.
Yay!
For the most part. Oh. So yeah. That was Mennonites Get Nuked. I was thirsty. And you can find me on Twitter at thirsty_BTP and on bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk. And you can find me here because sometimes when I run the tech, it works.
Yay!
Yeah. So we shall sum up with some of our other wonderful people here. So, without any bias whatsoever, oi, grotty guest. How was it for you?
Grotty guest.
Yeah.
It was lovely. I loved that. Almost died again. Down to 6 health. There was a lot of fun. A lot of stuff happening in that one. I think we all had an equal measure of input. It was a lot of fun, and I just knew. I think we all secretly knew that it was going to end with a big burning inferno, despite our best efforts to try and save the ship and not mess it up. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And you can find me on Twitter at Kerone_BTP. You can also find information about Betrayed, which is my new short film, at jqs.org.uk. There'll be updates on that very, very soon. Got a lot of things to tell, but I can't tell you quite yet. Got to get some contracts signed, and then I'll be able to reveal all.
See that I think that was properly mysterious. As opposed to last week where it was just a bit creepy. You made it seem like, made it seem like some proper backroom conspiracy stuff going on. This time, I think the word contract made it feel more legal and safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, excellent. So, to go back to our glorious, shiny regular cast, we shall start with Lilth.
Okay, I'm Lilth. I have been Anita tonight. I managed to blow stuff up successfully. Unlike the last time I tried to blow stuff up. Or helped to try and blow stuff up.
Yeah.
Accidentally killed another person. She was only supposed to take a little sip and knock her out. Not down half the bottle. I had nothing to do with the second one.
You blew him up.
Oh, that one!
You placed a jar. It was like the most Metal Gear Solid murder in the world. You placed a jar of high explosive at his feet. And he really went, "Huh? What's this?" You set it on fire and killed him. And nearly yourself. I rolled a d4 for how many seconds you had to get away. And if you hadn't come up with a plan that would work in that many seconds, you were just going to die.
Yeah, I guessed as much. But yeah, that was really good fun. Really enjoyed it. You can find me on Twitter at Lilth21, where I tend to retweet lots of stuff and like stuff and not actually write many of my own tweets because I can't think of anything that fits in that little word count. Yeah. You can also find me on a Saturday on Kit Battlebeard's channel playing a bit of D&D on Defenders of the Dusk. That is on at 9 p.m. GMT because time zones have synced. And we should be playing this Saturday because Kit is back in his country. Yes. And then you can also find me here on a Monday night. And maybe other stuff in the future.
Yes. So when people say things about the future, it always seems very conspiratorial. Right. I think next we shall leap to our paragon of explosives, our man of action, our definite go-getter, Eivor.
I've been Eivor playing Zeke. I've not had a chance to burn anything down yet and felt a little left out.
You tried.
Yeah.
I have been involved in starting 0 fires. Because Timi didn't trust me to deal with the butts fire.
Yeah.
True. In fact, you do have Firestarter. You can just start fires.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Eivor_DNAVC. Here on a Monday night. Things coming soon.
Yeah.
Probably.
Things in pajamas.
Things in pajamas coming soon. I just need to get that off the ground. Yeah, that was very enjoyable.
All but that, like 2 in explosives. You would have been.
Yeah.
You'd have been the great hero of the campaign.
Admittedly,
you would have killed everyone, but heroic death. A player-led TPK. It would have been amazing.
The worst thing is the initial roll for that legendary point was a 6. I rolled a 6 and then a 1.
Could have been worse.
You could have. Could have botched. Could have just exploded in your hand. Just exploded in your hand, killing everyone. But, you know, hey. At least you all survived so far.
Until next week.
Yeah, until next week when I kill you. And the flames reach the magazine. But yes, I think now there is no one else. And there never will be. We have Spanners.
Hello, I am Spanners, and I have been Timi. That was so much fun. I got to steal drugs. I got to make someone unconscious, and then I got to stamp on his throat. It's almost like 10 years back to normal. And I got to emotionally scar my new best friend.
And physically scar him.
And physically scar him, and possibly create some horrific abusive relationship, which I thoroughly intend to manipulate to my very best outcome.
Yay!
Excellent.
Timi is back. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Spanners_ACX, where I tweet prolifically. You can find me on Dark Dice Podcast, which is on iTunes and Podbean and everywhere, and download it. It's amazing. You can find me here on Monday, and you can go and buy my new book, which comes out next month. And then you can go and buy the next book, which comes out early next year. Get in.
There we are. Almost like a subscription model for wisdom.
Absolutely. Learn from me. Learn from me. Don't learn to kill people, but learn the proper things from. There is no death in the book, I promise. Just lovely professional tips. 100 of them.
Yay! On murder.
It's close. It's teaching.
Yeah, both take a certain amount of discipline, determination, and bloody mindedness.
Absolutely. And not as much torture.
Yay!
Oh, of other people. But yeah. So anyway, yes. That was when I used to get nuked. If you watch this on Twitch, hooray, didn't fuck up. If you're watching it on YouTube, hooray, I remembered to upload it. If you're managing to watch it somewhere else, tell me how. And, well, that's time at the bar, bitches. So,
Drink up.
Huzzah. Well, that didn't go how I expected.
Fun.
I'm alive.
So am I.
I did genuinely expect you just to kill the whole lot of us.
Yes, so did I.
If you couldn't tell, Zeke may have been running low on patience with the salties.
Oh, really?
Why do you think I made them talk in, like, single words? How do you make people seem as unreasonable as possible? You make them pushy and, like, incapable of speaking, like, in full sentences. You can't argue with someone who just says, "Go, do, now." No. Go, do, now!
No.
You can't have an intellectual argument with those people.
Very good.
They don't understand what you're saying. Anyway, thank you for playing again. Because I didn't know where this was going.
Nor did we.
No.
There we are.
Lovely.
I had a horrible feeling you killed Anita at one point.
So did
I had a
I.
horrible feeling I'd killed Anita as well.
As long as we can share guilt, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Right.
So Zeke